Welcome back to the Investor Unite podcast, where we talk all things real estate, business, and entrepreneurship.
If you're looking to ignite your real estate investing, then join us at Investors Unite.
In today's episode, we have a special guest that owns around 800 units, that has a property management company, what else? Fix and flip company, a wholesaling company, a senior living facility, and so much more behind the scenes. So I want to introduce Rob Neidlinger.
Thank you. Welcome. I like this new building you guys just moved into. It's amazing.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you guys.
Thank you. Well, we're gonna go into literally everything.
Okay. We're going to start from the beginning, work out through your entire journey, the ups and the downs. We're going to get into some of the ugly stuff if you have any.
We have some ugly stuff along the way that really made it challenging at times. So
Well, that's where lessons are learned.
yes.
So let's get into it. So you are a big Penn State guy, correct?
Yep. I went to Penn State. I was a wrestler in high school. I was pretty good. I was ranked number one my senior year in high school in states.
That's awesome.
Wow.
What
Now
high school did you go to?
I went to Big Spring. Now I did choke my senior year and ended up placing like fifth.
Oh, no way.
So I didn't do what everyone expected me to do.
Yeah.
And, my dad took me up to Penn State, Iowa match once, and they're like two of the best in college wrestling. And I left. It was awesome walking up that hill that day. When I walked back down the hill with my dad, I said, Dad, I just want to wrestle here.
Yeah.
If I can't start here, I don't want to wrestle at all.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So sure enough, I walked on. I started. I'm like 58th on the all-times win list at Penn State. And, could I have done better? Probably. Could I have worked harder? Probably. Looking back, it's easy to say I could have, would have, should have.
Yeah.
So, but I did really good, and it helped. The hard work there helped me for everything else down the road.
So,
awesome.
so from your wrestling background, what got you into real estate?
When I graduated from college, I came home, and I was trying to figure out what to do. And my dad had already kind of had this idea to build a mobile home park. He found the land from somebody. He had a contract to buy it. He was doing the engineering on it. And after seeing some other people in the business, we ended up doing a 55 and over community, which is it's a mobile home park.
Right.
It's 55 and over. It's called Creek View. And we developed it from the ground up. We overpaid for the land. My dad never funded it correctly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because he never had a big bankroll.
Yeah.
He didn't get the right loans. Yeah. He piecemealed it. We had no cash flow. It was a nightmare.
Oh, jeez.
And we whittled our way through it. And then, of course, while we were doing that, 2008, 9, and 10 happened, where the economy, we just hit a bad spot.
Yeah.
And that pretty much put the clamps on everything we were doing.
And you have a civil engineering degree, correct? That's
I do.
What you went for?
I do, and I never did anything with it. I started building houses with my dad out of college.
Well, did you incorporate any of the stuff you learned from your degree into the development side?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Oh, interesting.
Do you regret going to college?
What's that?
Do you regret?
No,
going
for
to
the
college?
wrestling. If I wouldn't have done the wrestling really helped me learn work ethic, working with people,
Right.
communicating,
The discipline, the dedication.
dealing with problems.
Yeah.
With not being able to hit your goals and stuff like that, and having goals, right? Because I wanted to be a national champ. That's all I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Of course,
Still
didn't become a state champ, didn't become a national champ. Came pretty close in both, but did not.
Oh, that's awesome though.
So we did house building. We were building up to 20 homes a year.
Wow.
And we were helping fund our mobile home park, which we never had enough funding for.
Yeah.
My dad and I never really tracked our monthly financials or our yearly end. We would just do all this building, put all the money in the mobile home park, and then boom, we started to have these big tax problems. Once you start figuring out how to make money, then you got to pay the IRS.
Yeah.
So you weren't setting money aside.
No.
Do.
We didn't have any money to do anything.
So before you and your dad started on this mobile home park, has he already done like development in the past, or did he have any experience?
My dad was a professional engineer, worked for the government, made about $100,000 a year back then.
Okay.
And he was a professional engineer. Yeah. And he did do a land development where he built subdivisions.
Right.
And the economy wasn't good when he did that either, so it didn't turn into total roses.
Yeah.
He did like a 20-lot subdivision. He built some of the homes. He hired builders to do it. I didn't see that he really made a lot of money from it.
Okay.
Although him and I never really talked about that. I just know from that experience, I won't do a big land development plan unless I can fund all the land first.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I won't go borrow $1 million to develop 50 lots in hopes to make money down the road with a whole bunch of interest along the way.
It's because you never know what the market's going to do.
Yep.
No,
It didn't work out for him there. So for that reason,
Yeah.
I've just stayed away from that kind of stuff.
You guys ended up having to bring more partners into that deal just to get the funding completed?
Which one?
The initial mobile home park with your dad?
I did bring on partners.
Yeah.
At one point, my dad was dying from cancer, and when he was in that state, I asked him if I could do that, and I found the partners. The people we were buying the homes from came in and partnered. We owned 35%, and they ended up owning 65%.
That's crazy.
And they funded everything then.
Wow. And it's you and your brothers, or
Me
is it just
and my brothers.
Yeah.
And we were all equal owners. And then at that moment, I had like $200,000. They were gonna they pay off the loans from my bank in cash, and they were gonna pay off this other loan I had of $200,000. And I convinced them. I said, "Listen, I need that $200,000.
Yeah.
Can you let me keep the loan of this $200,000 on these two houses? I had a house at the mobile home park, which I owed $200,000 on.
Okay.
And I convinced them. They paid off all my loans to the bank.
Yeah.
And I convinced them to let me keep the $200K, which then I took that $200K and kind of whittled and dealed with some people
Yeah.
to try to get myself out of the hole I was in.
Yeah.
And then I still had to pay the mortgage on that $200,000.
Jesus.
Oh, dang.
So it sounds like you initially already had a rocky start to begin with,
Yeah.
getting into real estate.
That was my rocky start.
So-
So in that mix of those, 7-8 years with doing the mobile home park, I started my rentals. I had 26 rentals.
Okay.
And
With what money?
Yeah. What happened? I feel like we skipped like 10 years.
know.
it's all like in that 7-year period. So when we were doing the mobile home park and not really doing well at it, I still had this urge to buy. I figured out how to buy rental properties.
It didn't scare you away after
It was at the same time.
the same time. So you just
Like you're doing 9 right now, and you're like, I want to do 9 more. Like I kind of did that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've been in our shoes.
I've been in your shoes.
Know what we're doing right now.
With the first rental property or two, like I was saying, I was buying at FHA.
Okay.
Okay.
Like I'm buying it. Like I didn't have a clue
About
from
like
the real
private financing.
My wife was a
stuff.
realtor. I didn't know about private financing. I didn't know the FHA laws.
All right.
I just was telling my wife, I want to write an offer on that property for $77,000, and I want $10,000 outside of closing given to me. She said, "You can't do that." And I'm a knucklehead. I'm a contractor.
Yeah.
I said, "No, that's what I want."
Mm-hmm.
So she wrote it up that way, and they did it.
No.
Wow.
So I got $10,000 outside of closing. I used my 3.5% down.
Yeah.
And then I ended up buying it FHA with none of my own money.
Yeah.
And I never moved into it. I didn't know the rules back then.
Yeah. Yeah. You didn't know.
You're all
the
good
rules.
now.
I don't have those loans anymore, and
No,
I
it's
don't
okay.
recommend anyone doing it that
Yeah,
way. I really don't.
Well, they say like you just have to live there for a year.
I never moved into these houses, so I did
But
them.
what if someone has to move for like a job or
You
something?
can move that.
Then yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
But then you can't use another FHA loan until you at least refinance the initial one into a conventional.
But I had one. My brother had one. My brother's wife had one. And
Yeah.
my other brother had one. We all did those.
That's nice.
And then-
it was in the family.
Then the other couple, we got to 26 rentals, so we must have gone to some local banks.
Yeah.
I can't map it all out. It was so long ago.
Yeah.
But
You've come a long way since 26 rentals.
when we had the 26 rentals, we sold Creekview at that time. I told you we sold Creekview, and we were also contemplating doing bankruptcy all at the same time because I couldn't. There was a point in time where I couldn't make my mortgage payments. I was like 2 months behind on all my mortgage payments,
Yeah. That's scary.
and I had 2 brokerage. I had 2 buildings for real. We didn't even talk about this. So I had a real estate. I owned a real estate company and had 2 locations,
Okay.
and my rents
Just like
were
a regular real estate brokerage.
Yep, I bought someone else's brokerage.
Yeah.
And I opened up another office. So I had 2 offices that were $5,000 a month rent each. And I had no agents, and I wasn't even selling real estate.
And you weren't cash flowing yet.
What was the
Real
point of
rentals.
that then?
I didn't realize how bad of a time it was to do real estate. I thought my wife was selling real estate. I was like, oh, she can manage the real estate team. We can open these 2 offices. We can get all these agents in here and start making all this money.
Right.
It doesn't work that way.
It sounds nice.
I have learned since, right, that if you want to own real estate brokerages, you need to own a lot of them. You can't own 1 or 2. You need to own 10 or 20, and it needs to be your whole world.
Right.
Okay.
My one investor in one of my deals, he owned brokerages, and I kind of learned that over the years. I wasn't quite, savvy when I was in my mid 20s or late 20s.
Yeah.
So I had these 2 offices, and I kind of had these 2 offices. I wasn't making money,
Mm-hmm.
and I had the mobile home park that wasn't making money,
Yeah.
and I had rentals that were kind of making money.
Okay.
But if you added all those streams up, it wasn't good.
Yeah,
I was
it's like-
losing money.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So I was like, Oh, and the house building that I was doing, that was now done too. Couldn't build houses. So the last 2 houses I built,
Yeah.
I told you we were doing like 20 a year.
Right.
The last 2 that I built back then, both lost. One lost 60,000 and one lost 30,000 because I was tracking those numbers.
Jeez. Yeah, that's crazy.
So all of my streams of income were turning sour.
This is right during like that '08 crash time frame.
08, 2010. I'd started in 98. So that was 98 till 2006, 2008.
Okay.
Ish time frame.
Gotcha.
And that's still like the beginning of your real estate career. It's crazy like seeing you still stick with the business ever since having
My sister-in-law, Kim, I'm like, Kim, what should we do? She said, I was like, let's go talk to a bankruptcy attorney in Harrisburg. Now we're developing the mobile home park at the time. Like we had the mobile home park all to ourselves and we're like, we didn't want to file bankruptcy. We said, okay, let's just buckle down. We don't want to go through bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So let's just buckle down.
Cut expenses.
And figure out how to do it. So the first thing that we did is that hopefully this isn't too much information for you all.
No,
Right?
keep
Okay.
going.
No.
First thing I did, so I had a whole bunch of, so I'd also bought a 50-unit apartment complex.
During this time,
Yes. But I was the winning bidder.
It just keeps going.
I was the winning bidder at this time, and my partners involved, my dad was still alive at the time. My partners that were going to do the project with me and fund it were going through a divorce, which I didn't know. So they couldn't, even though I was the winning bidder, now I couldn't buy it.
Jeez.
Where was this at?
Carlisle, right beside the fairgrounds.
Gotcha.
So
Your partner's an equity partner, not just a capital partner.
they would have been both, I guess, but they'd never been in real estate. They just had money.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I found out who the second bidder was, which was, Hook and Suter in Carlisle, who owned 400 rentals.
Okay.
And they had also put a bid in and didn't get it.
Yeah.
So I knew Dave Hook over there, and so he connected me to his dad. I went over there and sat down. I said, listen, I'm the winning bidder, and I need help because my people can't do it. Do you guys want to do it together?
Yeah.
They said, and I said, I can do all the construction.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what I think they can rent for. And they said, Rob, we'll do it.
Was this completely vacant or?
Yes. It was
Oh,
military owned, so it was an auction.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
50 units. They needed HVAC. They needed I think it was
Do you remember what your bid was on that?
1.8 million.
1.8 on a
600K rehab.
Wow.
And back then, 600
That's
went a
so
long way.
risky though, with it being completely vacant and you not
But
having
they had
any
400
money.
rentals. I had 26. I didn't have a ton of money. I was
Yeah.
still building at the time, so I thought I was going into an okay time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I went to them. They said, "Here's what we'll do, Rob. We'll be 65% owners. You can be 35%. We'll fund everything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You don't need to put any money. Oh, and you do all the work for the bid you just said it was going to be. No extras,
gonna
no
hold you to
overages. Like I have to do it for what I say.
Yeah.
So 600K, there's 10 buildings, 60K a building, which that was 4 mini splits in each building back then. It was renovating each unit. Like, geez, it was a lot of work. And back then you could do it. This was many years ago. And I said we would get $600 for a 2-bedroom apartment. $660 was the number.
That's crazy what the numbers are now.
Sure enough, we had one of our contractors that worked for someone else. He on the evenings and weekends he was doing the mini splits. He was really good.
Yeah.
And my team was renovating and still building. We're flipping a little bit at the time. And sure enough, we got this to go through. And as it was getting done, 12 months, took 12 months to do all 10 buildings.
Wow.
And when we got to the end is when all of these problems were coming together.
Okay.
This is when now real estate wasn't making money. So here's what I did. I went to Berkshire Hathaway, which at the time was Prudential, and I said, listen, I want to come join your team. I'm going to have a team of realtors because I can't build houses anymore. I don't have any work. I need to go build houses, or I need to build a real estate team. Oh, my wife sells, but I can promise you, me and my brothers are going to sell a shit ton of real estate.
Yeah.
Meaning we haven't sold any yet.
Yeah. And you guys don't even have your license.
I don't have my license.
Yeah.
So they came back to me and says, Rob, we'll give you $160,000. 60 of it is free money, and 100 is a loan.
Wow.
You can. So I took the 100K and I went to both real estate offices and negotiated a buyout, so I didn't have to pay them anymore.
Okay.
So I shut both those real estate teams down, and I went to a new office where I didn't have to pay any rent, and now I got 60% of my income a month out of a deal. I got 60%. 20% went to pay off the 100.
Jesus.
Yeah. And the other thing I did over here was I went over here and I owed $900K on the 50 unit.
Yeah.
Was my share. I owed the bank $900,000 out of my money.
Okay.
That's how we were working the deal. We
split
didn't.
it,
We were renting units. The deal was done. I went to them and I said, "Listen, I need out, and here's why." They said, "No problem." They came back to me. He said, "We'll give you 1.2 million, and you owe 900, so you can walk away with $300,000."
Oh shoot.
So I got 300 there. I got the 160 over
So it
here.
worked out.
My dad died all at the same time.
Oh my goodness.
He had life insurance of 500,000. I got that 500,000. I took about 80,000 of it, remodeled my mom's house. I said, I'll never be able to do it again. If I don't do it right now, it's her money. I got to do it.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I took over her mortgage payment.
Okay.
I got the life insurance. I took over her mortgage payment. And so I got the 400,000, 420 after we did my mom's house. I got the 160, but I used a lot of that to negotiate the leases.
Right.
And then I got the 300 from the sale of those 50 units. Yeah. And when the dust settled, I still had a little money in the bank account. And I still, when I mathematically looked at my Excel spreadsheet, I still owed about $800,000 to subcontractors.
Wow.
It was that bad.
Yeah. Talking about risky.
That's crazy.
But then we all bought Priuses because gas was high. We all bought a Prius or a Corolla.
Yeah.
And we just went on a budget, and we only got $500 a week. Every one of the Neidlingers.
Is it true that till this day you have that budget $500 a week?
That's what we get. Now back then it had to include the gas.
Yeah.
And our car insurance. Now the car insurance and the gas is paid by the company, but we still get $500 a week.
No way.
And that has to pay for our kids' child's account for college. It has to cover if we do a little Roth IRA, which I don't do anymore. If it has to cover any spending or any vacations that we're trying to do. Now I will say I do pay out bonuses now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Almost every month or every other month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we can't live off of that anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not nowadays with inflation.
Yeah, but if we make $100,000 one month on flipping houses,
Yeah.
I don't get a $20,000 bonus.
Yeah.
We don't do it.
You just buy more properties.
Right now I'm just saving money.
Yeah.
But I'm into quite a few projects.
Yeah, you've recently gotten into a fairly large project, your retirement facility.
Yep, 64-bed assisted living. And,
Yeah.
I thought once I got to 20 or 30 residents, we just automatically make money. And once again, it's not quite as easy as everyone thinks. So
Yeah.
So what led to that though? So like being in your spot of where you were previously and now to having 800 units, having that senior living, like.
Yeah, what was, it seems like your growth pattern is more of like a hockey stick. Like it started out like rocky, you're going down a little bit, but you then
Have that incline.
right, where you eventually got all that money towards the end. You were able to pay off a lot of different people or banks that you owed it to. And then from that 26 properties, you exited the 50.
Yep.
So you're just left with your 26 rentals at the time. And then we're like 10, 15 years later.
Okay, after we got through all of that, and we started becoming a real estate team. We got to number 10 in units sold in Berkshire Hathaway network. So we climbed the ranks really high.
Yeah.
We made decent money, and we started flipping houses along the way.
Okay.
So we got to where we were flipping 50 houses a year.
When did you find Meg, your contractor?
Well, I had another guy, Mike Wonders, who actually worked for me for about 11 years prior to that. So he was working for me when we went to Berkshire as a team. He actually worked for he instead of being a builder, he worked on contract to close.
Oh, okay.
Inside the office. And then as we started selling more, we brought on our new contract to close, and he went out and started doing construction management again.
Oh, no way.
So we had him for 10 or 11 years. He was amazing.
Yeah.
He ended up starting his own construction company with one of my other project managers. And Meg was my third. We had 3 project managers at the time.
Yeah.
Then, of course, Meg steps in, and Meg does almost what they do. Like, she's just a workaholic.
Yeah, she's crushing it.
So when we started, we got on that path of flipping houses, buying rental properties. We got to 200 or so. And then all of a sudden we're like, we wanted to try to buy bigger stuff, 100 units. We raised capital from some people and buy some bigger stuff. And we found some deals through networking. Anna Kelly and I are partners, the REI mom.
Yeah.
Her and I own 250 units in Hershey from just going to a networking group. That's how powerful those groups are that you guys do and go to.
Yeah. So do you think creating that real estate team really kind of saved you guys in terms of agent side versus where you were in your rental portfolio? Because
it was the only way we could kind of make money and still have our game in the real estate. Like if we would have all separated and got jobs, we wouldn't have had our head in the real estate game. So that's why I tell every new person, if you want to get goods, it's, sell real estate and then figure out how to buy it along the way.
Yeah.
No, that's great advice for sure.
Because you want a steady, good income stream.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing.
Right. But even being an agent, you still don't have that consistent income coming in.
I never had the problem.
Well,
I had that.
From what I've heard,
I grew every like okay.
so I don't have my license, so I'm not.
Well,
sure.
then the person that told you that hasn't dedicated their whole life to doing that.
Okay.
I don't know who we're talking about, but
I don't know.
I went from I sold 3 million my first year. I went right up to like 10 million over
Yeah.
and I sold in the worst market. 2008 was the worst market. You
Yeah.
couldn't when you went to closing loans, you didn't even know if it was going to close. Like people do not understand how good we have it today because that's how bad it was in those 4 years.
It's scary.
Really bad.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch back real quick when you said that your whole family was using the FHA loans to purchase your first couple rental properties, and you asked for that $10,000. Was that a seller's credit? Was it $10,000?
No, it was outside of closing.
Right. So what does that mean outside of closing?
I just told her to put it on the contract that I wanted the money. I wanted it on an addendum, and I wanted the money given outside of closing.
So who did that come from?
The owner.
Okay. So
They just wrote me a check.
got you.
What's the benefit of having it outside instead of on the HUD?
Well, looking back, it's probably mortgage fraud. So it's not. You can't do it.
Yeah. I would say
And I don't recommend anyone to do it again. I'm just saying that I did do it, and it was
kind of what you had to do.
But I didn't know any better. Like I just didn't know. I didn't have anyone. I didn't listen to my wife when she said I couldn't do it.
Well, it's crazy because you can literally do anything in real estate, like negotiate. So there's this one deal. It was actually with David and Isaiah, I believe. So the seller had this dog in the house, and there was a buyer that walked it. I was listing it, and the buyer was like, "I want this house, but I also want the dog too." Like craziest thing. Like
did he get the dog?
No. But like it could happen though. Like if they wanted to.
Well, I will sell my house and my cat if someone wants it.
I'm allergic to cats.
Are you looking to move?
My wife would say yes, but me no, because my rate's at 3.2%
in your house.
Your office and do you have a new office now or no?
No, we're sitting in the same one.
I was gonna say it's super close.
Yeah, I'm less than a quarter mile from my house.
Yeah,
Right.
perfect.
You can't beat that. Just walk out and go to the out of the office.
So we bought the large multifamily because then we could buy 100 units. We used none of our own money. I bought a $13 million 100-unit Waynesboro.
Yeah.
And I needed $5 million down, and I used none of my own money.
Okay.
And I own 12.5% of that deal now.
So how many partners are on that one?
I have two of us. Me and Michael Manti are the GPs. We have two of us. We own 25%. Then there's 30 other people that own the remaining 75%.
I don't know where.
So on a deal like that, with having all those partners, how much would you per se like cash flow?
For who?
each month?
For who?
For you. Like
I cash flow about $8,500 a month right now on that one deal. And I
$8,500
yes,
with
Just
none
like
of your own
12.5
money.
none of my own money.
Just 12.5% ownership.
Yes,
That's
and I got a $200,000 check at closing,
Nice.
Just for the
acquisition fee,
Yeah.
and then I got $400,000 loss on my taxes that year.
Oh no.
Yeah. See, for us, like we talk about syndications and stuff, but then we're like, we would want like that full ownership and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, just having control.
But here's the thing: did I have $5 million down there then?
What?
I didn't have $5 million to buy that deal. I put the deal together. I didn't
Yeah.
have $5 million. The rate on my loan is 3.24% on that loan right now
Wow.
for 10 years, and we're 3 years in. Now we are refinanced. So here's the thing with the syndication: you can set the terms. As long as you give the investors the return they're looking for, you can set up a term that gets you more of the deal or all of the deal down the road. So we're doing a refinance right now at like 6.5% on $5 million.
Yeah.
And the investors are going to get all of their money back, and then I'm going to own. Michael and I will own 60%, and now the investors are going to own 40.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So we'll own 60. Now my cash flow on 30% might actually go down. I might get down to $6,000 a month
Why would that be?
Yeah.
because we just took a big loan.
Oh, so your
debt.
new mortgage.
We took
payment's
on more
just a little
debt,
higher
and it's
than-
on a 30-year AM.
Gotcha.
It's on a
But
30.
you have more ownership.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the payout, like if I go sell all those units, so we paid $132 a door.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna owe. We have $9.9 million on the first, and now we're gonna owe $15 million now on it.
Oh wow.
But there was capex involved and all that stuff. So
What do you?
we're gonna owe $15 million. So that's $150K a door.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they're probably worth $200, $210 when I go to sell them in 7 years.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about, let's just say there's $5 or $6 million of equity down the road.
Yeah.
Now I own 60% of that instead of 12.
You'll get the big payout at the end.
Yeah.
No, that's smart. So when did you first started with your typical funding, and then you discovered private money, and that's really when you started to scale.
So yes, so go backwards when we had 26 rentals. From going to 26 to 200, there was a point in time in there that my brother was showing someone houses, and he was buying houses using someone else's money.
Yeah.
And they kind of tapped out what they felt comfortable doing. And my brother said, and prices even dipped more after that. And then my brother told, Denny's the guy's name. We call him the Bank of Denny. Okay. And Denny said yes to Mike. He says, yeah, you find a house and go ahead and I'll fund it. Yeah. Oh, and I'll fund the repairs too. Wow. But I was nervous about him funding the deal and the repairs and then me owing too much on the house. Because I didn't know, like I was paying $25,000 for a house and I needed $10,000 for repairs. I was getting like barely even all of that money. And I was just paying the extra out of pocket. Yeah. Because I didn't know where the market was going. Right. And I didn't really fix them up to where they should have been back then. Okay. I wish I would have fixed them up more, kind of like you're doing with yours.
And you didn't have a mentor though, like through this. This is just your I think this is going to work.
No, the Facebook really was just, Facebook wasn't even around then.
They're just trying to figure it out as you go.
Yeah, so I didn't have anyone in our area that had rentals that was willing to share. Yeah. People didn't share back then. Yeah. On Facebook, it's easy to see stuff and copy and see what they're doing. So I just always had in my head. I never saw anyone own rentals. I just had in my head, if I could get a rental property and get that money every single month, right, I could do great things down the road. Okay. That was my thing that kind of drove me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, I've never really gotten to the point yet where I have I have the 50,000 come in a month from the 5 or 6 the 600 rentals that I have that are syndicated basically. Yeah, I have 50,000 a month come in from that. I take 30% off for taxes, so we're left with 35,000 a month, and I don't have it allocated to anything.
Wow.
So that's just going straight to savings at the moment.
Straight to savings.
Now, why did you stop the Roth IRA thing?
When you make over $250,000 a year, you can't do a Roth anymore.
Really? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so
that's my goal this year, to start one.
It might be done by next year.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, so that kind of went away when I couldn't do it anymore.
That's crazy. That's good to know.
I got to like 4,000 in it. Wow. I did $50. You should just start one and do like $50 a month or 30. Whatever you want to do.
Because you can do a max of $6,500 a year, I believe was what they increased it to.
I don't even do the math. I still just do the $50. Yeah. Actually, my wife does. We do 200 into a college account. Okay. Nice. That's all we do right now. So, I think I do a SEP IRA in my company, like $50 a month or something.
Gotcha. Something that Stefanie and we've brought up before is that in terms of relationships, we've always kind of wanted our other half not to be involved in real estate just because we feel like that's kind of where our entire mindset would just be 24/7.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just sometimes for us, we're like, it'd be nice to have a break at home
Why?
Well, I don't know.
Well, what is it like?
Yeah, Stefanie and myself, we constantly keep each other on our toes for real estate. Yeah. Whether it's 10 o'clock at night or...
And I'm always, like, sometimes I'll text them, like, late. Just check out this video. Or, like, if I get hype about a deal or something.
Just something real estate related. But, I don't know. I know that in my past, I had a long-term relationship, and she didn't know jack squat about real estate. Yeah. So it's kind of nice where I could, like, not differentiate, but separate myself from this real estate world to... It's just like a nice, like, calm surrounding where I feel like if my other half was in real estate like yours is, it would just be constant, like, this deal, that deal, this number, that number, tick, 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 tick. It's like...
And it gets like that at times. Like, here's the thing. Back in the day, when we were broke and owed $800,000, we didn't have a choice. Yeah. Like, we had to just... It was work all the time. Like, what deal are you working? Like, what deal am I working? Like, it was just focused, laser focused. Now... Obviously, once the debt got paid off, we started buying the multifamily. We have more cash flow. Our flipping did better and better. We've been able to save money, and we've been able to take some trips and do some things that we normally wouldn't have done. Right. Yeah. And I don't talk to my wife during the day very much. Like, I talked to her. I just called her when I was out here sitting, just let her know what I was doing. And she works on the real estate and the real estate team, so we're really not connected. I'm focused on the flipping and the assisted living, so we don't really cross paths a whole lot. with actual work.
But when you guys come home, it's not like, well, you say, how's your day? And then it goes back to real estate.
I mean, I don't shut my day off. I'll spend some time with the kids. Yeah. I'll eat. It's kind of very sporadic. Everyone's kind of doing their thing. I wouldn't say I'm focused. Like I'm probably on social media too much.
Yeah.
And I feel like the reason I'm on there is to look for something that I could flip or look for a connection, where I'm just constantly working on relationships. And it's probably negative. It's probably not good for.
Well, I mean, you're doing pretty good so far.
No,
so.
for the home life. I would be better. I would be better if I could do more. If I shut my phone off. Like I did try to shut my phone off before COVID. I did. I started putting away, but then when COVID hit, phone came back out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's nothing to do.
And I haven't been able to break from it since.
So are you still looking for deals now? Like as we speak, are you still looking to grow that rental portfolio? Or?
So we have Remarkable Home Buyers, which is a home buying company where our spend is like $45K a month. It's a pretty big operation.
Whoa, it grew.
I know we're doing.
Yeah.
We've been spending more on all kinds of leads, and we have 5 people in that team.
That's crazy.
My
So
bro-
last time it
yeah.
was 28,000 in expenses is what he had. So now, and that was probably what, a couple months ago?
3 or 4 months ago, yeah.
And now you're at 45. Dang.
I know.
Blows my mind.
And it's cold calling. It's basically everyone's cold calling. We're doing it remote right now, which is different than most.
Where are you getting your callers from?
They're all in house.
Oh, okay. So perfect.
All in house.
Yeah. Like,
We might have one VA working on the team, but and I'm actually not involved with the day to day per se.
Yeah.
My brother Mike's been more involved. My brother Mike's doing dispo for the team.
Yeah.
And then, they're doing
We
acquisitions.
should have had Mike here too.
I should have, but he's out working.
Oh yeah. You keeping him busy.
how many brothers do you have?
2.
2?
My other brother kind of does construction.
I never met him.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What's his name?
Justin.
Okay.
He does like one-off projects and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we're novating deals. We just bought a rental / something we might be able to flip today. Like we just bought in Marysville on an acre, a mobile home, like a double wide with a garage. Needs work, a lot of work.
Yeah. How are you coming up with the majority of your leads now? Just through cold calling?
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
We have a
I was gonna say you're
PP. We just started PPC, so it's a big thing. We're spending a lot of money on that.
yeah, it gets expensive.
It's too early to tell.
Yeah, and I was gonna say like your branding is like a household name by now, at least in the Central PA region.
We don't get leads because of our name yet. I don't think so. No, I think I can generate some leads because of what I do on Facebook.
Yeah,
but that's.
I'm sure this video is probably gonna generate something.
It did generate. It did generate a lead once. The first one we did generated a lead.
I heard about that.
Yeah, and I said, I said, I met a guy, and I was like, he sold me a house, and I'm like, well, how did we get connected? He said, I saw you on Stefanie's podcast, and I friend requested you, and that's how we are. So
Yeah.
and I got lucky on the deal. I made like $125,000.
What?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it was my highest to date. Now I just did one in Duncan and made about $150,000. So
Wow.
Oh,
Just
shoot.
typical flip.
Mhm.
Nice.
it was like a 600.
Oh, is that
six?
Yeah, the one you were talking about.
600,000.
Okay, that's awesome. How long was it to sell? How long did it take?
It sold in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, I feel like I priced it right. I actually had an appraisal cut. I actually would have made more. I would have made like 100. It had a $20,000 appraisal cut, which was complete BS.
Yeah.
But you just got to go with what
Yeah.
you got to do.
Are you looking to get more into like that luxury market?
No, I just want to flip anything that can.
Anything that can make him money is just,
Yeah.
I'll take
And I like up and down 81, right? I can go down to Chambersburg. It's hard to go to York. Like I can't get my contractors there as easily. It's harder. So pretty much up and down the 81 corridor hour from Carlisle is where we flip.
Yeah.
We did 30. We closed out 30 flips last year, 55 a couple years before that, 50 range before that.
So do you have everybody in house at this point, or do you still hire out for like any?
We just have 1 or 2 guys that work on for the Neidlingers, like W2.
Yeah.
And we have, Meg's got Meg had a painting company before she came to work for me, so she has some people.
Okay.
Brian in our company, he has like a small HVAC company on his own.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He does some stuff, yeah.
Oh wow.
Nice.
And so we got other sub. We sub out the 90%.
Yeah.
Having employees is not the way to go for flipping houses.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's smart because something that Stefanie and I will run into later on. I know that as of now, we kind of been focused on the rental portfolio and just stabilizing those units.
Yeah.
But obviously, we are going to start building up that wholesaling, novation, and flipping business again. So we've been going back and forth and talking about, should we eventually hire people in-house or should we continue to sub out? And
I think flipping's definitely sub out.
Sub out.
Yep. And the more work you get, you can probably convince the subs to do even more for you.
Yeah.
If you only have 1 or 2 jobs, it's hard to convince them and get them to do it for a lower price and do good work.
Yeah, if you can promise that you're going to keep them and their team busy for the entire year, then they're most likely going to.
And we're struggling right now. Like normally I have 10, 15 flips. We've got 2 or 3. Like,
Oh, geez.
Why do you think that is?
I just can't find. We have 1 or 2 coming that we're under contract on.
Yeah.
And we're literally just a month or 2 in with this whole new. I told you we're ramping up.
Right.
We have we only had 2 cold callers / lead managers. Now we have 4.
Yeah.
4 in the office working every day. So
You should start cold calling. Make some content.
It blows up.
I guess I would have to get a headset.
No. No.
Cell phone.
I was in there cold calling earlier today.
Do you do most of it yourself still?
Well, we need money, so.
Yeah.
We're back
As of
on
right
the
now. As of right now, yes.
But we still have a caller. We have a caller, too.
So last year on the 30 houses, we made about $1 million and flipping.
Okay.
And I feel like I just kind of put it all back into my companies. I haven't really profited. Normally I took 50% of that profit and would put $500K like aside.
Yeah.
But this year I feel like I've put that $500K back in.
Wow.
And I'm continuing to do so with the flips. I've got like 3 or maybe 3 flips under contract to sell right now, making 30 or 40,000 a piece. And
Yeah.
Nice.
I might even have a contract on one right now we just got. So
Awesome.
we're gaining momentum. I'm having fun with it, and my brother and kind of my sister-in-law Kim have been kind of running it. I haven't really been involved in this go round unless they need questions with a deal.
Yeah.
But when we go to buy a flip, we're very cautious. We'll try to kill the deal as many times as we can. Mike's involved, Meg's involved, I'm involved. We all kind of give the green light before we say yes, we're flipping it.
And that's what we talk about. So, like, whenever we want to flip a property, we're like, all right, can we potentially buy this at the end of the day just in case it doesn't work out?
Yeah.
So that's where our mind's been. We just don't want to get caught up or in the hole or anything like that.
But the one we're doing right, so my brother called me last night on one. It's a double wide on an acre.
Yeah.
We bought it for $45,000.
Okay.
And we're closing on it. There's some septic issues. We've seen a report, so we can live with that. But the tenant will pay $1,000 a month if we put a new furnace in.
Oh, wow.
So we buy it for $45,000. We're all in for $51,000. We're gonna get a $55,000 loan from the Bank of Denny. Denny's still loaning to us.
Shout out to Denny.
9. I think Mike said 8. He'll give us the interest only at 8%.
Wow.
Denny's got some money right now.
You can't beat that because we're seeing around like 11 to 12 right now. I'm
And
sure people are seeing more.
And we don't have to put any money in. Denny just gives the check for $55,000. We buy it. We do all that stuff with it.
Yeah.
See, that's how it is with our one lender where he literally, I showed him my YouTube videos. I'm like, yeah, we done a couple of deals. Check out my YouTube video just for like credibility.
Yeah.
And he was like, yep, you guys are pretty much good to go. So he lends like purchase price, rehab, closing costs. So
Everything.
for the 5 unit, all we had to bring was like $212 in closing.
That wasn't much at all.
Yeah.
He just wrote a check and got the first lien and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. Super simple.
Yeah. It just gives us the renovation budget in increments as we go throughout it.
Yeah.
Can he do multiple deals then too?
Yeah, but only to like, so like with him, he can do multiple, but the only downside is the max of what he's willing to loan. I think it's like $350.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
We
we're
can still
looking
get a
at,
good amount done in that $350 range, but
yeah.
when you're
But we
looking
just
at
want to
these-
grow.
yeah, when
you
you're
know?
looking at these larger multifamily properties, you're not finding anything under 400 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we like that commercial.
Yeah. No, we are, I'd say a majority of our time as of now is still focused on trying to find those larger multifamily properties.
Yep.
Mhm.
Just build that rental portfolio so we can hit that goal of 100 this year. But at the same time, I know that we do need to take a step back and really start building up
Have reserves.
the wholesale company,
Yeah.
get some capital.
Because there were times I did
Right.
not have reserves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I didn't have. My rentals don't have reserves. My reserves are all in one account from all my companies.
Okay.
Yeah.
But-
How often have you pulled from that account? Or is it,
For my rentals, I haven't.
you never have?
Not in the last couple of years. No.
And that's good because you said you haven't like fixed them up to like.
We're
the
fixing
highest.
them up. So sometimes I have $20,000 turns,
Yeah.
but I also sold some of my better ones that had a lot of equity. So like I just sold 2-3 units and got a check for $350,000
Wow.
this week.
Yeah.
I'm selling 2 5 units that will probably generate a $650 of free cash.
Mm-hmm.
So when I take away all the cash producing ones, then I might have to reevaluate
Gotcha.
where the cash flow is on those.
Do you own any of your properties outright?
I do not. Meg does. Meg owns like 3 of hers with no mortgage.
Really?
Wow. That's
I don't have any with no mortgage.
How old is Meg?
32.
Really? I would not guess.
crushing it.
She looks so young in the videos. She looks like she's like our age. Yeah, no.
How old are you two?
23.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's got like 40 rentals and very conservative. You know, as much as she wants to grow, she's very conservative on her cash reserves and all that stuff too.
Mm-hmm. She still like that Mercedes?
That was the first thing she kind of did outside the box. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So what would be like your upcoming goals, I would say, for 2024? Like, obviously, you're a successful man.
Yeah.
You build up your rental portfolios, you build up your flipping business, your property management business.
I mean, you still have to, like, so my job is to keep not managing, but just keep, the higher level people in my company happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I'm spending some time with them.
Yeah.
We're talking about what's going on. And really, my wholesale company ultimately has not been truly successful in running on its own ever before.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like a full-blown company right now. So we've had 1 or 2 people working in it before, but now we've got like a team of people.
Right.
Okay.
So I think the goal is to get that more profitable. It's not profitable.
So what's your profit like right now? Like you're spending $45,000. So what are you bringing?
Well, literally, I had like no income the last 2 months on it. So
yeah.
And I've told you, I've put all my flips the last few months into half that into that account, half into enterprises.
Right.
Why not just focus on flipping then? Like just forget about the wholesaling business.
How do you get the flips? So I'm
From networking.
And that is an option.
Buying from
However, we're flipped one in it's making $33,000 over in Likens.
Yeah.
We just flipped one in Hummel Avenue in mechanic. It's under contract now. It'll probably make I might have an offer today. It'll make 30-some thousand. Like we're kind of just ramping this up right now. So I feel like it's going great.
Just building that.
So we're wholesaling, we're novating some deals to help fund for the operations.
Yeah.
But the ramp up is very expensive on what we're doing.
Right.
But I'm like right now, between all the flips and from that company and the novations, we have like in the next like 60 days, probably like 170,000 coming in.
Oh, well, that's good. That's really good.
But we're spending 45.
Yeah.
And then we just bought this rent. So you pick off this rental that we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really bringing in any revenue. If we keep it as a rental, and they pay $1,000 a month, it makes like $350 a month right now, which is not a lot. I don't even want to. I'm doing it, but we could sell it then at some point and maybe make $20,000.
Okay.
So I'm not selling it now because there's tenants in there, and it just might not be worth going to try to flip it right now.
Right.
I think the most crazy part for me, just to digest, is that so you're on these like syndications where it's like 100+ unit buildings.
Yes.
But you and your brothers and your teams are still willing to do these small little like mobile home flips or these single family rentals. It's like,
so I had an acquisitions guy doing large multifamily, but we haven't bought anything in a year because here's the thing. We couldn't get numbers to work when rates were 4.3%.
And now they're double that.
And now they're 6.5 for the big Freddie loans. So that 2% jump makes it really, really tough.
It does.
Well, why don't you just look more to seller financing?
That is true. So just because of all I've got going on with the assisted living, I'm very comfortable with the large multifamilies that we own. We make $50,000 a month.
Yeah.
I felt the need to pull back on that for the moment. Now, I don't know where things are going to go once the assisted living starts to turn a profit.
Yeah.
And that could take another 6 months. It could take 9 months. I don't exactly know that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like last month of the assisted living, I probably lost $123,000. But
wait,
so
it went up
so
because I think it was 90,000.
no, it actually got down to 57,000 one month, but then there's an extra payroll last month. So that's the way you have an extra pay. It's like 60,000.
Yeah.
So if you pull the extra pay out and some things out, it really went down in like in the 30s technically.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a moving.
Dang.
It's a moving target.
That's crazy.
Are you still thinking about selling it or?
No, I haven't had any inclination to sell it.
A while ago, we had a phone call. You're like, I may sell it, and then you're like,
it could have been a bad day, but ultimately, I have no plans to sell it. I haven't even talked to anyone about that, and frankly, my administrator asked me that question recently, and I'm like, why would you ask me that? Like, I'm here every day. I want to make it work.
$150K a month.
What's that?
150.
That was 1 month. So that was 1 month.
1 month.
There was one. I mean, there was 1 month I lost 170.
It's just 150K. You know.
But when you look at most months were in the 50. Like the month before that was like 50 or 60. Now, don't get me wrong, my taxes are not broken out monthly, so that's one thing that's going to hit me when they hit. So like, there's a lot of things that aren't figured in.
Yeah.
I think ultimately when we get it full, it makes $50,000 a month. I don't think it's to make what I thought. Or I have to tweak raising some rates slightly or do some things. But I think get it full and then figure it out.
No, I think it's a good investment because a lot, like within our area, the demand is there. You know, a lot of nursing homes, like my grandfather, like he just had to be put in a nursing home. And it's crazy, like how so many are booked up and stuff like that. Yeah, like a crazy wait list.
So the ones that are Medicare, Medicaid, when you don't have money, they're full. The ones you actually have to pay to go to are not.
They're not.
They're not full.
Okay.
There's actually a lot of them that are struggling.
Wow.
Like there's some of them that are 90, 100 beds. They've been open for years.
Yeah.
And they're at 30% occupancy.
Oh,
So they're not even going to be able to stay open. They're going to have to sell them.
How many beds is your?
64, and we have 33 residents.
Okay.
And we're a new brand, and it's brand new, but like it's beautiful.
that's really nice. Yeah.
But it's still the staffing part is what we're constantly working on. That's the hard part of the business.
Yeah.
How come? Versus getting
Just nope. It's hard work taking care of people.
Yeah.
And there's just such a demand for them. So it's if they're not like when we didn't have a lot of residents, people did come there and work. But then once we got more and more residents, it's a lot more work.
Yeah.
All right.
So then we just had some issues with
some
staffing.
turnover.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So I don't know too much when it comes to like the rent or the retirement facilities.
Yeah.
So I don't exactly know what questions to ask.
I know too much now.
Okay. So
We would need a whole podcast on that.
Just on that.
okay. So my one question for
Yes.
So you have a Medicare, Medicaid
Yes.
retirement facility versus a standard.
Yeah.
You built it. You just want to get people in here.
Yeah.
Is the government paying for these people to go to this retirement home?
But they pay so I'm getting $6,200 a person.
Okay. Monthly.
Medicare, Medicaid is probably in the 5 range.
Okay. That's still coming out of their pocket though?
It's just like a Section 8 for.
Yeah, it's like Section 8. It's coming from the government.
Okay.
I'm struggling to do a good job with $6,200 a month.
So is
It's not enough.
So is there any way that you can transition your building into being a Medicare, Medicaid facility?
But you'd still lose money, right?
I've heard from everyone in the business, you don't even want to do that. There's just no, it becomes rough.
Yeah.
Okay. That's something we might dive into one day. As of now, not anytime soon. But
It's a lot of work. It's good. It's awesome that I have a good team, a family company that can help. You know, everyone helps. Like both my brothers are there helping periodically. You know, sometimes my other brother helps with getting involved with the snow guy. My other brother just helps with miscellaneous issues or callbacks from the general contractor. That our regular team there we're just there to help each other.
Right.
that's another thing I want to dive into is that your business is very family oriented.
Yes.
You have your brothers and your wife and dad previously was all involved in this business. And I know growing up, I've always heard like don't mix family with business. Like it tends to be an issue because I mean, if there's like some disagreements, I mean, you can't necessarily just leave that partner because that's your brother.
I know. And we've had lots of disagreements over the years, and you know, I've basically convinced everyone to come and work for basically no paycheck for 20.
So you're just quite the salesman overall.
I don't know if we're selling them on the vision or what, but we bought the beach house in Ocean City, Maryland.
Yeah.
Everyone gets to use it.
Yeah.
You know, we all use it about the same 2 weeks a year. We just, you know, we've been going on some skiing vacations once a year now. We'll take all the big kids. My brothers and I have been doing that. So those are some perks.
Where are you guys going this year?
Salt Lake City, Utah.
No way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
I just bought into a partnership with a house in Sarasota, so now we have a beach house in Sarasota.
Oh, the one you guys, is that where you just went?
No, we were in Zihuatanejo, Mexico.
Yeah, it looked nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't rebook that trip because of everything I got going on. I'm just gonna wait. That was an expensive trip. I took my wife's whole family.
Yeah.
And that's why we buy that's why we buy the rental properties so that we get that money every month and we can give it away to people that we like and love.
That's what it's about.
You can enjoy it.
That's my dream. I don't want to just take my family to the fancy vacation.
Yeah.
And spend $20,000 on them. I'd rather go spend the $20,000 on my wife's whole family or my whole family.
Have everyone enjoy.
Or I eventually would like to take my friend. Hey, friends, you want to go? I'm going to book this house. You guys, who wants to show up?
Yeah. Y'all don't
my
even
dream.
have to pay. Like, I got y'all.
That's the vision behind what I do, is to give to others and to
No,
help other
absolutely.
people.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, I've been saying the same thing for years because I come from a larger family as well, and none of them, I should say, are financially literate in any kind of way.
Yeah.
It was a kind of rough childhood coming from dad's side and mom's side, divorced sides, but neither one of them really know exactly what they're doing. Debt in every which way you look.
Yep.
So I don't know. I always knew, like ever since middle school time frame, that real estate's what I wanted to be involved in because I had that mindset of I did decent in school, like middle school, high school. Like I had really good grades actually, but I knew that I didn't want to do college. So I was like, went on my iPad back in the day, like, what can I make the most money in, or what career can I make the most money in without having to go to college? And that's what initially like got me interested in real estate. So I know it's just like you know how everybody's supposed to have like their why. Right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what drives you and keeps you going in this business. And that's completely my why as well, is like friends and family. It's like I know that none of them really have a clear trajectory of how to get in this successful business. So it's like if I'm capable of doing it for them, it would just make me feel 100 times better. Not even for myself. Of course, I'd love to drive these luxury cars and go on these great vacations and everything. But it's like if I could actually just take my entire family, make them not have to stress about any financial situations in the future.
Yeah.
Give them the life they want. That's really the main goal. So
I bought my mom liked the Volkswagen Bugs, and one year we bought her a brand new car and we paid it off and gave it to her.
That's awesome.
That was one of the best things. Yeah, we hit a lot of our things on our goal boards.
Yeah.
But all along the way that we've been doing this, we've, one of our company things is, enriching the lives of people in our community, and everyone. That's why we've not held back. There's Brian's got the 40 rentals. We helped him.
Yeah.
Bit.
That's what I like about you guys. So like if I were to start all over, I probably would join a team like you guys just because you help everyone around you. A lot of like the younger individuals that come into real estate, I see that they join your team, but you push them to go buy properties and like scale up their real estate business. So
yeah.
I like how you're hard on them too. Like in the videos, they'll be like, well, I want to do it this way. You'd be like, why? What's wrong with you?
And so Derek's our asset manager. He came working for us a year ago, had no rentals. Now he has 8 doors.
Wow.
We've helped Meg along the way, and Meg gives us a lot of credit for that, which is awesome. But she's created it herself. She had, when we met her, she had no rentals, and now she has 40 rentals. Chelsea on our real estate team has 8 or 9 rentals.
That's amazing.
Adam, who used to work for us, he went on his own for real estate, but he's done well. He had 6 or so rentals when he was here working for us.
Yeah.
And there's other people that have been with us that have rentals, and I think there's more. There's another lady on our team that has 1 rental, Allie, in our rental department.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's more people we've helped. There's handfuls of people.
I mean, you helped us in
It's true.
literally just, acquiring that 5 unit because we didn't know what we were doing when we were breaking it down.
Yeah.
We're like, we don't know where to start, but we know who to call.
Well, the first time I ever came to your property, I met you. I met you at a meetup before.
Oh, that's when
But
we looked at
we went to
a
Pittsburgh.
12-unit apartment building out in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I said don't do that.
Yeah, we called you on the way back, like, hey, like, we just
I know
wanna
you
go over
were all
numbers.
gung ho on that.
You're like, all right,
Ready.
You're like, come over, we'll go over it. We're like, okay. You sat down, you're like, this is why this is not a deal. Like figuring out cash flow.
And my brother's that way. He helps people. Kim in my office, she will help people. Like Mike has really helped. Like Mike's been in the office more than me. I'm out talking and meeting people. And Mike literally will help them buy one of our rentals. I've sold rentals that I own. I sold Mega 3 unit that I owned.
Yeah.
Brian's bought rental properties from me. Derek's bought rental property. We wholesaled one to Derek. We probably could have even made more money on. So we're not opposed to helping people get in the game.
Yeah. I mean, if you're planning on selling any 2 to 4 units in the near future, just let me know.
I'll keep that.
Both looking for house hacks.
But I would need seller finance.
I might be able to.
Are you going to
Not
buy
with that
before you
bank
get out?
loan.
Are you going to try to?
Well, no.
We just refinanced.
yes. So it depends. I have this one property that I'm currently looking at, and she still wants to sell, but it's a very slow process. It's been a process for the past year.
I don't know if it's going to happen.
I don't know if it's going to happen either.
But you should force yourself to find a 2 or 3 unit.
Well, yeah, that's the plan before I quit my job, so I can get that pre-approval and everything else. So that gives me till May.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4 units. Like,
I don't know.
Well, there's something that just popped up, which we realized this a couple of days ago. So he was telling me about his credit score.
Yeah.
how it went down a little bit after we just refinanced because he saw what $120,000 loan, and I was like, oh shoot, let me check my credit score. I saw that mine went down. I was like, dang. So like, how do investors deal with like refinances in their credit score?
So are they in your personal name, the ones you did? Is that how you?
No, it's in our business.
Through an LLC?
Yeah,
Added to our personal accounts.
a DSCR loan.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we wanted to ask you about that.
Are you? But it's not in your personal name.
No,
How much did it drop it?
I dropped like
man, mine is looking pretty bad.
I went from like a 726 to like a 705.
You're still fine. I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, but still, if we do that 3 more
Still,
times,
yeah,
we'll have
like-
a mid to low 6.
Yeah, because we're looking to.
I've
do
had
the
times where
refinance.
mine was in the 5s when I was, when we weren't making payments. I honestly, I haven't even looked at my credit score in 10 years. I don't even know.
But
what
like,
mine
how
is.
do you do that with you doing those refinances?
Which refinances?
Like,
You're doing the $5 million refinance.
yeah.
So those type of loans don't necessarily go on credit.
Oh, okay.
They go on liquidity,
Mhm.
net worth,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
personal financial statement.
Gotcha.
So my personal financial statement's like 20, 25 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My liquidity, but buying it's harder than probably a refi. So we've already owned the deal. We're paying on that $10 million loan right now monthly. So we've been good on that.
Yeah.
So if you can show the banks, like, hey, I've been paying this.
And it's basically, okay, how much rent is coming in? So we gave them all the financials of the building, and they're the ones that told us they could get us $5.2 million out of it.
Mm.
Gotcha. So they're just looking at their debt to income ratio of that
Yeah,
asset.
that's it. They don't care. They don't really care about.
So we got to figure that out. Like, maybe because it's a residential, it's a 2-unit. So
Which one?
our 18th Street property. That's the one we just.
It
refinanced.
sounds like if it's reporting your credit, it wasn't a commercial loan. I don't think it was a commercial loan.
We have to talk to Justin.
Okay, did you get a 30-year loan?
We did.
See, you can get up to 10 of those
Yeah.
in your
Right.
personal names.
Yeah.
So your personal name must be tied to it. I'm guessing.
Must be.
Maybe. Yeah.
Did you personally sign for the?
Yeah.
But don't you have to for the business? Don't you have to personally sign?
Yeah, we just had to put our name in, like, member next to it.
Yeah, I guess for my commercial.
Oh yeah,
loans-
we put member next to it. So.
My commercial loans, I have to do a personal guarantee with it.
Mhm.
It's a limited liability one with the large one. So if something goes haywire and I didn't do anything illegal on my large loans,
Yeah.
I can say, listen, it's not working. It's not. There's nothing I can do to fix this,
Yeah.
and they're not going to come after me for the loss.
Okay.
I could give it back to the bank.
Gotcha.
So what's your predictions for interest rates this year?
They're 100% going to come down 2 or 3 times this next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've talked to a professional. We had a professional speaker come in.
Gotcha.
Some of the things that I learned from this professional speaker is so in 80 years, how many times do you think the housing prices went down year over year?
The housing prices?
Yep.
Oh,
The
wow.
value of a house went down
Twice.
6 times.
6?
4 times were in that 2008 to 2012 range.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why they went down in that range?
That was from all the not being able to pay the loans back, right?
No. Okay. No. They did all these subject. Back then, you could do a loan on stated income. You could tell them if they rob, how much money did you make? Oh, I make $150,000 a year. Oh, great. We'll approve you on
Oh,
that.
they're
They didn't
just
actually
throwing
check it.
out loans.
No, you
like
didn't.
crazy.
You didn't. Yeah, they gave loans to anyone that could fog a mirror.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
So that was a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
So since then, so before that, they had all these guidelines,
Yeah.
and after that, now they have all these guidelines. You really can't. And trust me, I knew better that I shouldn't get those loans, even though I could have gotten those loans. I knew I shouldn't get those loans,
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I never got those loans. I got like 7-year. I always stretched it as long as I could because I never knew how those 4.5 rates were going to last. So
Right.
I did 15-year loans back then, and I did 7 years on them because I thought the rates were going to jump.
Mhm.
And when I had to refi, okay, if I'm on a 15-year now and it's working,
Yeah.
in 7 years, if I had to go to like 6 or 7, I could just put it in a 20 or 25,
Right.
and it would make my payment about the same.
Okay.
I was scared that the rates were going to jump all along.
Yeah.
Right.
And of course, we got through the 7 years and they went lower. So we actually refied and we refied and
paid a lot
extended
of
them again. So we actually,
Yeah.
we made out. But looking back, I probably should have bought more. But there was only those 4 years went down.
Okay.
Other than that, in 80 years, it's only going down 2 years.
That's
So
insane.
guess what? 95% chance every year they're going to go up. They're going to go up. The values are going to go up. When the interest rates
Yeah.
go down next year, value is going to go up.
Okay.
The cost of buy stuff, it just isn't going to get any cheaper.
Yeah.
No.
And the other thing is, when we had that other recession back in 2008, I think there was like 3.5 million homes available for sale.
Yeah.
And there was 300 million people or 290 million people at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Right now we have 320 million people.
Yeah.
And we have 1.5 million homes available.
Jeez.
Wow.
It's like this problem. We've underbuilt for 12 years.
Yeah.
And there's a shortage of housing. And builders were scared from that time frame. I mean, you might see a lot of builders doing stuff, but overall, they haven't built nearly enough if you look over the last 12 years because builders have been scared. So I'm still scared to build a house. I'm building a house right now, and I'm always scared.
Like now would be a great opportunity to start building that.
I think so, because rates are coming down next year.
Yeah. Just got to find a good piece of land.
And you got to figure out how to build cheap. So that's what we're in the process of trying to figure out how to build some houses to sell them.
Yeah.
And
why not multifamily and just keep?
My thought process on buying multifamily and keeping is the only way to make it work the right way is to finance half of the cost
Out of pocket.
out of pocket.
Gotcha.
Okay. That's another thing.
So that means that building a duplex, right? Let's say the duplex is $400K for both sides.
Yeah.
Yep.
I need to put down 200 and finance 200 and start building it that way.
Okay.
And then I take all the positive cash flow because you will make money.
If you put 50% down, yeah.
You think you still have to find a way to build it cheap.
Yeah.
But that you start building so that any money that thing makes, that 2 unit, you put it back into the, you pull the cash out and you move it over here. Now I still I'm over here like rentals or whatever, flipping houses, making money. Now I build another 200,000, so I do another one.
Yeah.
Now I double the amount of money moving in. Right. So my active income stacking with that money, then you could eventually, now I can go build a 10 unit.
How long do you think it would take to do like a 2 unit or something?
I can go do it right now today if I wanted.
But how many months for it to be?
You put 6 months. Yeah. 6 months. That's
not too bad.
But do I really want to part with 200,000 to make like the profit I'm going to make on it? That is my goal. That is actually my couple-year goal, is to figure out how to do that. Because I have a friend in Pittsburgh that does that, and he's been doing it for 25 years. So now he's building 150 unit, 200 unit.
Oh, wow.
50 unit down the road. And he's funding it all half with cash.
Okay.
Dang.
Interesting.
He just finished a $52 million project, and he only owes $26 million on it.
That's crazy.
And it cash flows like a king.
That's crazy.
And on top of that, I want to do senior apartments.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if 1-story living, or if they're 2 stories, then you got to elevate. You can't have them up steps. So
yeah.
Right.
That's an issue that we ran into recently. Was our newest tenant at that 5-unit building. He has a disability, just extremely overweight. He was like, "Is there any stairs?" We're like, "You're on the first floor, but you have like 3 steps to get in. Is that okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, like that should be fine." I see him pull up for the first time, like get out of his car. I'm like, "Oh, this might not be okay."
And he's rented
it. He rented it. I haven't seen him leave yet. He got in there and he's chilling. Now, something else I wanted to dive into.
Yes.
We're on the topic of out-of-pocket money.
Yeah.
So you obviously have a great reserve set to the side. Like you've had a good amount saved up. Now, when you're doing these simple like single-family fix and flips, you're still borrowing money for those.
I do. I have, for the most part, I use my lines of credit. I have probably 2.5 million in lines of credit.
Oh, okay.
And I do typically use that. Now, I will tell you, like just recently when I was flipping that one that I bought for $345 and put 70 into it, I funded that. Like since I had very like no flips going on, so I did fund that one with cash. I'm doing one right now. I funded with cash.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, like, why wouldn't you fund it with cash if you have the cash available and you're saving on that interest payments?
I just get scared of losing my money.
It's true.
Then I put the money here, and then I get stuck and I don't sell it. Like it's a fear from the past.
But isn't it scarier to risk somebody else's money than your own?
It's my line. I mean, I'm still. You're right.
Yeah.
I just get worried about putting money here, putting money there, and then what if the bank for the refi needs to see $2 million in my bank, and now I only have 1.5 or 1.4.
Or if you want to buy another property,
I don't use my cash for buying. I'm really not spending any cash right now.
Yeah.
On property. Remember, 100 assisted living. I got to get if the assisted living was making money, and my rentals are making. So if I was combined, making a larger amount, then I would have a different perspective of what I'm doing.
Right.
So right now I just had the blinders on, so to speak.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
There's times when you need to do that, when you need to have a different mindset because you just took all this risk until you get that risk stabilized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the process of stabilizing everything ourselves, but it's been good.
It's definitely been a fun journey.
And you're doing more at the same time. You're doing this. You just did this place on top of doing all that stabilization.
It doesn't stress us out, though. I feel like, I don't know.
For the most part.
Throughout 2023, we've been through a lot, so I feel like that built our like mental capacity of what we can hold and stuff. So like, I'm thankful like just going through all that because not a lot of people go through the stuff we went through. So it just helps us to grow and being able to manage stress at a different level.
Like when we were going through our latest refinance process with that duplex, the two women, I'm not going to say names, that were helping us out throughout the process, and like they needed all the documentation, all of our personal info, everything else that they required to get this done. They're pulling their hair out, going crazy. They're like, "Oh, what? Like, how are going all over the place?" And like, they asked us, or they asked Stefanie the one day, like, how are you guys not stressing? Like, how are you just so?
Yeah, because I just pick up my phone. Hey, how's it going?
They're over here
find you this
cussing,
refinance,
going crazy.
Literally got pushed back probably like 2-3 times. So they are really stressing because if it doesn't close on this specific date, then we gotta start all over. And I'm like, hey, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't,
I knew that we had a good enough a deal not to like really worry about it. We could go to another lender any day and still cash flow the same or pull out the same, if not more money later on. Something I want to ask you as well. I asked another mentor about this, but our refinancing fee on a $120,000 loan came out to like $16,000. Just the refi.
I think I did talk to you about that. I may have.
Is that accurate? Because I've never heard
all the fees added up to that. Is what you're saying?
Right.
I would have to break it down. It didn't. There was only one or two of those fees that
stood out. That you were saying.
And it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. I was just shocked when I saw it. I was expecting maybe like a couple grand. I was like, now we're talking like 20 grand of like equity that's gone. Like,
yeah, I mean, and what you need to do is understand all those numbers, and then moving forward, you just give multiple choices.
Yeah.
And then, but only a couple of the fees were high. I mean, you're gonna have to pay title insurance. You're gonna have to escrow for taxes. Like, there's all those things add up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There was something that was like 11 grand. I was like, what the hell is that?
Well, we can always go over it again. But I looked at it. There was only one or two, like, maybe the fee at 2% or 1 or 2%, a little bit more, but everything else was kind of like you have to do.
So that's just something to be expected then.
Yeah. So this $5 million loan I'm doing has like 2% in fees, roughly 2.25%.
So what does that come to?
To
100,000,
100,000 fees on this one loan.
Dang.
100 or 110.
It gets a little crazy.
It is.
So you learn. Like, I made the mistake and didn't budget enough on the first couple deals.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I did it the second time or third time, we've been much better at understanding where we are on the fees.
Right.
And we just build in a little more cushion from the start.
Okay.
And that's how we've.
So when you're refinancing these larger multifamily properties, are you realizing that the banks are strictly giving you your refinance amount based off of your debt to income ratio? Or is it basing off of kind of cap rate for the area? I know you don't look at cap rates. You don't really like cap rates at all.
I personally don't even do a cap rate. I don't understand cap rate.
Right.
I've never even talked cap
Which
rate.
blows my mind because that's what we look at.
Yeah.
To
that kind of gives us
be able to make a deal work. Like, okay.
I look at the bottom line cash flow.
Yeah.
After,
right.
How much cash does it make at the bottom? Like real cash. After escrows, long-term repairs, short-term repairs, bank holds. Every single item, what does it make per month?
But don't you have to see what the property's worth? Which is you have to do like the NOI.
What pro forma be? Pretty much. Not just on the cash flow side.
Well, then I build out my pro forma for the next couple, to see if I'm comfortable with it. Yeah. And I can tell you my comfortability is better than what the bank wants.
Okay.
So we just got to learn what the bank wants, and then we'll figure it out.
But they do want that like 1.25 data, 1.25. And I think mine probably did that in the early days.
Yeah.
Okay. Until I pay the investors back, it needed, like, I knew what it needed to be in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I mean, if you ask me right now, how do I figure out cap rate? I couldn't tell you.
Really? And it's like, I don't know. It's nerve wracking. I mean, we are
back in the early day, like back when it all started, like 15 years ago. I do remember being in trouble. My mom, I had to get a new loan on her house, and I didn't even know if she would qualify because I ended up getting, that was another piece. I got $100K out of refinancing my mom's house back then. That's why I took over her payment. She owed like $150, and I took it back up to 250.
Gotcha.
So that was another 100,000 I got back in the day, and we were like crossing our fingers that my buddy Chris could get the loan to go through.
Jeez. So who do you use now primarily for like your refinances?
I use Bank of Landisburg for a lot of my local stuff. I've used Orrstown in the past. I've used Belco,
So
not Belco.
Small local banks.
Yeah, small local banks.
Okay. You've experienced like better interest rates or terms with them versus like a larger
I haven't really done a whole lot in the last year or two with any refis.
Okay.
I'm just doing this $5 million one. You go with a Freddie or SBA lender, like a Freddie or Fannie lender.
Yeah.
And I've got 2 of those in my network that I use.
Okay.
So I'm just using one of them. I'm using the one that did it originally.
Are you part of any masterminds?
I'm part of the Collective Genius, which meets 4 times a year.
Yeah.
Eric Brewer's in it. Eric Brewer got me in it.
Okay.
This past year they gave out like 4 or 5 awards. There's like 150 members in that group.
Wow.
In the premier one.
Yeah.
And I got one of the 5 awards for the year.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I didn't expect it. I'm glad I was actually there. I mean, I've been going to all the meetings last year, but it's just been not that I'm a good speaker or anything like that. I have spoken in front of the whole group, but it's just like they tell you to save money. I saved money. They tell you to do this. I've done that.
Yeah.
Now maybe I did the shiny object syndrome a little bit with the assistant.
Corvette. Got the Corvette too?
I sold it. I flipped it. I made money. So I've just lived by the values of that operation.
Yeah.
The way they want you to do and operate and help people.
Right.
And I help people there. Just like if a guy from CG calls me, I'm going to answer that call within minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually answer all my calls within minutes typically.
Mm-hmm.
You called me the other day or text. I think you called me and texted me.
Yeah.
And I was doing something. But I did respond right away.
Yeah, but no, you're good at responding.
Yeah, relatively.
Nice. I have a question in regards to the rental units. So for those, do you have like a minimum number of like cash flow of what you're looking for?
Well, we just did one today that my brother and I were talking about, and it's going to make, after paying the investor, the taxes, and the insurance, it'll make $350 a month, and I have $0 in the deal.
But is that so like?
Is that a single family?
Yep.
Say a deal was like, all right, 200 per door. Are you gonna take it?
Right now?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So it's like 200 your limit, or is it like 250, 300? Because like I like to see, since like
This is like, so when you talk about the bottom number, it's like I just take out the fixed expenses. I'm not doing overhead. If I was doing a multi-unit, I would do 95%, because 5% vacancy.
Yeah.
And I would just take out the regular operating expenses, including regular turns and I wouldn't do any long-term repairs or short-term repairs quite yet, like any real repairs. Okay. And I would want to make probably 250 to 300 a door. Okay. If I'm doing a single family, I want to make like really 350 to 600 a door.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Really like 500.
That's why I like the 2 units. Our 2 units are cash flowing pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah, like we've experienced pretty good numbers with those so far. I mean,
I just can't find any in the areas I buy in.
Yeah. So we're in a different location.
Yeah.
We go a little bit riskier.
But you got to watch. The upside isn't always as good in some of those areas too. Like
they're not going to appreciate nearly as much as your properties on this side.
Yeah, the stuff I was buying for $25 and $35 a door in Carlisle, or like there's nothing under $100 anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No. Yeah, I believe that Harrisburg specifically is much more of like a cash flow market versus West Side or West Shore, which is a lot of appreciation.
But I would still try to, buy the nicer. I bought all my stuff in Carlisle that was just kind of okay. Yeah. Then I figured out how to buy like an 8-unit in Mechanicsburg that made me feel like I was buying something nicer. And then I bought a 6-unit in Dillsburg. Then we bought a 40-unit in Mechanicsburg, which really made me feel like I was buying nicer stuff.
Yeah. Did you ever have that like one moment that just kind of hit you? You're like, I made it. Like I feel successful now. Yeah, I did it. Was there a certain door count? Was there a certain amount in your bank account?
No, but I would say buying that one we bought a 72-unit in Hershey.
Oh, wow.
For $85 a door. And we're talking...
That's a good deal.
We're talking right next to Aruga, like right there.
Yeah.
In the mix of it. So we thought we were overpaying. Like I remember on a negotiation, she offered him like $5.8 million. She's like, no, we're going to list it for 6.2 next week with a commercial broker.
Yeah,
and we were him.
Fees, they're already at 5.8.
I know, but they were him hauling around, and finally we said yes. And Doug, my investor, who put up all the money.
Yeah.
We brought him, we just closed on the 40-unit. We were driving down to look at the 72-unit. He says, and we were charging a 3% acquisition fee now.
And how did she find that one?
From attorney in town.
Wow.
You know, on the way there, Doug says, "Listen, Rob, you're gonna charge us 3%. Maybe we shouldn't even go look at it today." Because we were going to charge a fee. I never charged him a fee on the 40 unit or 20 unit. Now we're bringing a 72 unit, $6 million purchase. We needed $730,000 down this time.
Yeah.
And Doug was like, it might have been more than that, to be honest. It probably was. It was probably $1.4 million or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're charging this fee now of 3%, which was $200,000. He's like, I just don't feel comfortable. Maybe we just shouldn't go look at it today. I was like, Doug, just come and look at it, Doug, and you might like it.
Yeah.
And it convinced him to come. He comes down there, and we look through the property, and we're going down to the store to eat afterwards.
Right.
And he was basically like foaming at the mouth. Quickly forgot about the $180,000.
Yeah.
Now he still negotiated the acquisition fee. He was going to give us half up front and half in a year. So we had to wait for. We're like, okay.
Yeah.
And we had no pref on the deal. I think last month he, on his money in that deal, he got 18%.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
18.
That's
really good.
crazy.
How long ago did you buy that deal?
A little over 3 years ago.
So
And it's in principal and interest now.
nice.
That's awesome.
That is amazing.
And it's still making 18%.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So are you an equity partner in that? Or you just
We're 70-30 on that deal.
70.
So we own 15% on NI.
Wow.
I don't know how much I make on that deal. Maybe $4 or $5 grand. $5 grand, $6 grand.
Still.
Anna.
Anna.
She's someone that you've been working with for a little while, right?
Yeah, she kind of oversees the property manager that works for my company.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then I do all the bookkeeping and from my company. All my company does the bookkeeping on all those units.
Gotcha.
Pays all the bills, does the financials monthly.
Yeah. You two both kind of just go into these larger deals together a lot of times, right?
We've done like 4 or 5 deals together.
Yeah.
And then we broke off. I did another couple deals myself.
Okay.
72 unit in Lewisburg was a pretty good home run.
Yeah.
But my aha moment you asked was I got the approval to get the zoning changed to build the assisted living 4 years ago. And I literally was out with my attorney.
Mhm.
We were celebrating hard, and he owned the bar. He owned the location where the bar is.
Yeah.
And I literally when I was leaving that night, I hit the curb and got a flat tire, hit an embankment because I was having too good of a time. Now, I thought we had made it. I was like, man, the next week I rented a Lincoln Navigator and just thought I had made it.
Yeah.
Little did I know it was 4 years later to get to this point, and I still haven't made it
Still
yet.
losing money.
At the end of the day, it's a learning process.
Yeah,
That's
And
amazing.
just having to build that momentum. But
but we have a valuable asset there, like any way you slice it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So how much longer are you expecting until you actually do start to see profit from that?
I think it's still going to be another 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I
been,
think that's just about everything.
yeah, I think, well, there's honestly so much more, but that would be another podcast.
Have me down anytime. Build questions. Helping young people.
Yeah.
I would say is a passion of me and my company. We're not afraid to answer the phone for a young person, or I'm still not afraid to call it. Like if there's a problem, I'll jump on the phone with a tenant. Like I'm not like above anybody.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I'll get down. I had to clean the floors at the assisted living the other week when I was there. Saw dirty floors, and me and my brother's wife was there, and we just jumped on it and got it done for the weekend.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah, and if you guys, I would say, want to connect with Rob, we'll make sure to leave all his information down in the description below. But
Check out his TikTok.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can follow
check out
us
his
on
TikTok.
YouTube.
Yeah.
We're on everything.
yeah, well, we truly appreciate you coming
Thank you
out,
so much.
Thank you.
and we'll see you guys in the next episode.